Hi everyone, welcome back. I am so honored today to be joined by Maryam Zahid, who is the founder and CEO for a not-for-profit organization, Afghan Women on the Move. And Maryam has such a story of what I consider to be real, deep, contagious leadership around her own journey of being moving from a young refugee arriving in Australia to now being the community leader, a celebrated community leader, I really should say, and a real advocate for human rights. So I'm so excited to hear more around your story, Maryam, and I really appreciate your time in joining us today. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Laura, and hello to your viewers and friends that they are watching us.
No problem, Maryam. And like I said, I know time is precious, so I truly appreciate it. And I'm sure our listeners do too, because like I've said, your story is, really one which for many of us, we can probably hardly fathom, hardly understand, comprehend the severity of it and the shifts that you've made over your lifetime to make that happen and dedicating yourself now to the work that you do. So before we go any further, I would just love to know and help our listeners to understand a little bit more around actually Afghan Women on the Move and the what you're actually doing within the organization. That'd be great.
Thank you so much, Laura, for your kind words. For the organization that I have founded, and now that I'm a CEO with the support of a very good board of directors and advisors and staff and volunteers and the community and everybody, including yourself, we are a non-profit organization and we support the well-being of Afghan and refugee women with programs such as Women in Health, digital and financial literacy, advocacy programs, and drive to employment. So we are a support advocacy organization, and and we've been doing this for very, very long time, and that long time including my 23 years of being in the community work sector, but 5 years as an organization CEO.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Very, very, I mean, just great work that you're doing, all of those different pieces. It's sort of it sounds to me like you're supporting the whole woman, right? Be it in work, out of work, securing employment, there are advancements, health, the whole spectrum for the woman that you're supporting.
We do, and actually, when I talk about these four pillars that we are delivering from the organization, and a lot of people say, "Oh, you're a startup." And this is a lot, but I was doing more than this as a startup. We were stretched very thin, and because my call is on Afghan women or refugee women or women that comes from a country that countries like Australia is quite a different space, both culturally and socially and everything else, that it was pretty much new for me when I came 26 years ago. So the work that we are doing, despite it sounds quite a lot, but it's needed. It's the focus is how we can invest in women's day-to-day life, and no matter how much we do, it's still there is more need.
Yes. It's like what's enough, really, in the scheme of everything, and you can never really reach that point of, well, that's enough now, no more, we won't offer more services, that's not needed. There's the need, I'm sure, is very, very strong and prevalent and consistent and all those pieces. So, Miriam, 26 years ago, is that right, that you arrived in Australia 26 years ago?
Yes, that's right. Actually, it's a good date for you to interview me because September I was only a couple of days old in Australia. I arrived end of
Ah,
August, so it's a pretty much I'm celebrating
oh, there you go.
my 26th anniversary in Australia here.
Amazing. How good. And I love how now you've got that, like I have, I'm English 15 years in Australia, and I have that slight Aussie twang. You have that too, sort of there. I think it sort of just
Thank
pulls out
you.
at times. And so congratulations on that for sure. But well, I would love to know more around your story, and actually that, your arrival all those years ago now into Australia. And I know from our conversations that we've had so far, it certainly wasn't easy, right? Like there were many challenges along the way. So can you tell us more around that?
Happy to share. I hope I don't cry, because no matter how many times I say to myself, you're not going to get too emotional about it. But for those of us that experience trauma, lost, trauma stays with you. So despite that, I have now been in Australia for 26 years and 31 years altogether that I was forced to leave Afghanistan. It's a long time. It's a long time, but I remember every part of my life as a young Maryam in Afghanistan, and then traveling to Pakistan and from there to Australia. But when I arrived in Australia, I couldn't speak English. I didn't have prior education. I didn't have prior job or work experience. So it was pretty tough, and everything was quite extreme for me. Like it felt like I lived in a very patriarchal, a very male-dominated country, and coming to a space where I was told that you're safe, you're free, and you will be respected. And that took a long time as well for me to find and make the meaning of everything and implement it, or to kind of work with it on my day-to-day life. And that was a lot to take on, but I did, I guess, pretty much good.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, what a huge shift. And like I said before, just, a living environment that most of us can't fathom. We hear about it, you see it from afar, but you can't imagine. Well, I certainly can't imagine for 1 second what that is actually like to live in that society, and then go through that transition period of somebody telling you, no, 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 you can do these things here, and you're safe here, and you'll even be respected here. And just the time, I can only imagine that it would take, must have taken you to almost believe that, and to really feel that as true, so that you could do the things that maybe you ended up doing once you truly felt it for yourself. Was that sort of part of it too, Maria?
Of course, especially when you come as a refugee. So there's this perception that refugees comes with nothing, because we do actually come with nothing in terms of belongings. So I didn't have luggage, I didn't have my makeup bag, and I didn't have different shoes and pair of jeans and all of that to come, that I'm going to a new country and make another and buy a house, or understanding how the system works. And especially if you can't speak the language, it's a huge barrier. It's a huge barrier when you can't speak the language. So I came with all of that and faced all those perceptions that as a young Afghan woman, and coming from such a conservative country, that I should be very grateful that I'm here and I'm safe, and that's pretty much it. So I wasn't kind of expected to do better stuff. I wasn't expecting to be in the leadership position one day. Rather, it was questioned that are you happy, and are you happy, and everyone that were questioning me at the beginning of, actually for many years, it was that, are you happy in Australia? And I was like, yes, I am happy, but I want to make out of this old opportunity something that I can contribute back, and that was always questioned, and I faced so many obstacles, and which was quite difficult to understand that once I was so celebrated, and what happened that now I'm asking to be part of them, or part of the bigger picture here, why I've been questioned about my abilities.
Yeah, interesting. And so you arrived, you couldn't speak the local language, you couldn't speak English. I'm assuming with that you couldn't read or write it either. And
Yeah, of course.
then, but you had this kind of this ambition bubbling beneath you, to not just want to be here because, hey, at least I was safe and happier. It was like, yeah, I am, but I'm still, I mean, I don't know how old you were at that point, but still very
I was
young
20.
in
I
life.
was 20 when I came.
20. Okay, righty ho. So 20 when you arrived. I mean, life's barely just beginning for many people. And so you're not willing to just sit there and think, well, so long as I'm safe and happy, that'll do. It's this burning ambition to want to do something, give something back. So how on earth does all of that come together for you? You go from the young refugee, can't read, write, speak the local language, to realizing this bubbling ambition against people who are just saying, no, 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 just shush now, be you, just be happy and content, and the rest, don't worry about it. How did that happen?
I can sit down here and tell all the stories and everything for hours and hours, but since we have a limited time, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about how things happened. But in terms of women like me and coming from countries like mine, we fight so many obstacles. We fight from the time sometimes we wake up from our sleep, to what to wear, what to say, how to dress up, what my community will say, what the culture will say, what the religion are expecting us today, what the men will talk about it. And then you step in to take your car key, and then you go and look for a job, or you wanted to be part of a bigger picture in your hosted country. So I have seen all of it, and I remember there were days that if I was going to meet some my own community, I would have dressed and talked and differently to when I was going to somewhere that it was more kind of a more mainstream had mainstream approach toward how women like me should be and expecting us to be in those environments. So there was a lot of attention need to be paid in those critical stages of you getting resettled in a new country. But the turning point for me in a sense was that because I had this drive in me, and I was like young and so committed, and I wanted to do things in Australia because I was promised that this is your country, and I really accepted it, that this is going to be, it's my country, and no one can take this from me. So, and I'm going to make the best out of it. And then I stopped questioning my presence in places. I stopped asking for permission and I start believing that inner voice, and then that really kind of gave me confidence. And slowly I've learned the language, and I went to school and uni and all of that, despite that my kids still picks on my accent. But I told them that my friends and my supporters understand my accent, so don't worry about it. But here I am, and it's I feel so good regardless of the highs and lows that I have been through.
Yeah, yeah. And I love everything about what you just said, but the thing that really, really hit for me was when you said I started believing in, I forget your exact words, apologies, but it was essentially that essence. Like I started believing in the inner voice, and just started ignoring the outside noise and the challenges, and actually thinking, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to do for myself? What's the, listening to that inner drive that you clearly had, and quietening out the noise. I mean, that's just so powerful. So powerful. It's like for any of us, if we've got our own reason why, our own motivating force, our own driving factor for anything, it could be about anything. My goodness, losing weight for summer. It could be about changing the world. It could be about whatever, right, spectrum and scheme. But that innate drive for all of us, if we've got that, as we know, it's so much, so motivating, so much more powerful.
Thank you. And yes, and when I was told that you're going to Australia, and when they showed me before you come, you get a disorientation program, and they showed me the picture of Opera House with seagulls and water and women and men, everybody had their own kind of life and identities and all of that. And I was looking, and I was saying, even before coming to Australia, I was like, when I go there, I will be me, and that version of me will be different to how I brought up here. So and I kept that promise to myself. And as you said, when that inner voice speaks to you, believe it and listen to it. So it was dare to believe everything, and there you go.
Yeah, yeah. And you stayed authentic to who you are, regardless of where you are, which I love, right? Like even what you shared there around your children, just being playfully picking on you for the accent, and you're sort of just playfully telling them to shut up.
I know
and and you
they
know
don't do it
everyone
playfully. They were
understands.
really criticizing me, like, "Ma'am, you don't say it like this." And I said, "Don't worry, my friends understands my accent." So yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. It's not playful, it's serious.
Yeah,
But
they're very
for
serious
you,
about it.
it's who you are. Okay, got it. And but for you, it's who you are, and it's you don't seem like you see a need to have to change to fit in, right? And this was part of what you chose, as you said, when you were looking at
Yeah,
Australia and
I
going,
try
"Oh,
to
the opera
improve.
house is like a stay."
Yeah, I try to improve things. I try to learn more stuff, more skills, improve things. If I have to kind of pronounce a word that it's kind of easier for everybody to understand, I'll do that. But then you got to tell the people that are not, they never been in your shoes, that I've learned English at age 20. And when your brain and your body experience trauma in war and all the fear that it's kind of embedded in you through your cultural expectation and all of that, it is hard for women to especially for women, I must say, that to kind of believe in herself and say, regardless of what, I'm gonna say it, regardless of that, I will do it and I will show up. And I'm sure that out of 10 people, one person will kind of will support you. And that's how I experience life, that not everybody supported me, was supporting me even right now, but there are good people that they believe you, they support you, they understand you, and there is still like you people out there. So I believe in all those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. So what were the biggest you said there? There were and there still are people that don't believe in you and don't necessarily support you. What were the biggest, and I want to hear more about sort of the actual how Afghan Women on the Move came about for you. You said you went to school, uni, all the good stuff, and still there's this curiosity in me going, so how did we? I mean, I went to uni, but I didn't found a not for profit, right? So how did we get to there? So I'd love to hear more about that in a moment. But you said around there were people and that didn't and still don't really believe in you or support you. What was some maybe? And maybe it's what were and what are some of the biggest challenges that you do face, Mariam, doing what you do?
Well, I believe that there always be someone starting from probably your family circle to your community to the mainstream, to places that you wanted to be, that people like or don't like you. It's very normal, and I have accepted that. But because I have seen more than I was expecting, that my presence, my leadership. And my being a refugee woman but wanted to be part of a bigger picture was questioned rather than expected, that Maryam will be here, Maryam will do it, Maryam can do it. That really bothered me a lot. So I was like, well, if you don't give me a space, if you don't invite me, I will not only make my own chair, bring my chair, but I will also make my own table. And that was my Afghan Woman on the Move. And it started small, and it's one conversation at a time, one woman at a time, one cooking show at a time. So everything started small, but I wanted to prove in that those people that never supported me or don't want to support me, that women like me don't need savings. Women like me don't need those very important titles. All we need is a voice and a space. And I created both of them through my own, places, and social media was my, and still is, best friend. So it started from my own kitchen to use social media and to connect and to build relationship and trust and be visible. That was a lot, but as I said, I didn't need saving and a big title. All I needed is a voice and a space, and I challenged those doorkeepers.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. And I love your analogy of not only did it, if I not only will I bring my own chair, I will bring my own table. And then you created your own table, brought your own chair, and then made it multiple chairs, right? In the work that you do, and your notion of, oh, we don't need saving, we just need a voice and a space. I mean, yeah, that's so contagious to me, that ripple effect of the impact of that mindset, the impact of that decision to be that person and to say, okay, fine, if you don't believe in me, okay, but I will be doing it, and I'm going to do it therefore over here, and creating something from ground zero, from scratch. And tell me more, Mariam, about you mentioned there around cooking classes and using online social media. So is this how Afghan Women on the Move sort of started in a sense?
That is right. Yeah, and I when I was wanted to do something that was separate from my day-to-day job, which I was working in domestic and family violence space, and then I was like, there is one kind of a very traditional approach on you wait in your office for the women to come and for the things to come to you for you to help. How about I come from this preventative measures and go and kind of be engaged in the community before waiting in my fancy office to get clients or get issues to come to you. So my intention was to build trust with those women that they don't trust or they don't come to those wonderful buildings with and women like me on the computers, right? And coming from a culture that we are very hospitable and we love food and cook a lot, and women are expected to be in the kitchen, so I thought that's a good way of getting your message through your cooking shows. And I start cooking and I start using all those Snapchat filters to make fun of me, to make other women laugh. And to be honest, and frankly, to be honest, I had no idea that I will be a CEO one day, that I will have an organization one day, I will have funding, so I will be interviewed, or will be going with politicians. Those things were not part of my bigger picture in terms of having a title or having that importance. And I feel now given that trust and importance, and which I take it as a badge of honor, but I call myself sometimes accidentally being a CEO in this space. But it was for me to connect on the ground with women and let them to speak without being judged or reported on the papers, because that was lacking in my community, to speak about things that you were not confident, or there was a misinterpretation of those services, or there was this assumption that if you go and tell about your problems, you will be called, you will be given, or you will be reported to the police or to those government organization. I wanted to go and tell them that, look, first of all, visibility was important for me, to be visible, because we are forbidden in my culture or the country that I'm coming from for women to be visible, to be seen, especially on social media and having makeup on and all of that. And I wanted to challenge those patriarchal views. But then slowly, when I started cooking shows and wanted to see if women like me exist in their community, I was like surprised to see the tsunami of the messages, and women approached me. And then I invited them for a girls' night, for a one dance night, and turned the lights off, and there was no windows outside to look out or look into those places. And this is where I felt like, actually, this conversation is serious. This friendships, they're taking, I am serious, but they are taking it more seriously, that somebody is here from their tribes. And then I was like, you know what, Maryam, the work has began. Let's do it. And then I registered the Afghan Women on the Move, and I turned around and I was working in Canberra and Brisbane and Melbourne and Sydney, and still I'm doing well. And a lot of more structural stuff happened since I board of directors and advisors and fundings and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely. So it started though with you just having an idea of wanting to provide a place for safety and trust, to build trust with these women, build a community connection where they could come and see somebody that they can be inspired by, and you're telling them, you're proving to them that it's okay, they can be trusted, they can be safe, they can do these things, they can be visible, they can speak up, they can speak their mind. And you're doing it through cooking classes online, which I just think is cool, because I'm not a cook, so that's cool. And actually, you shared with me before we started recording one that you were just before you jumped on in the kitchen, or helping was it your daughter with some a cool
My
recipe or
daughter,
something?
yeah. Yeah, she was
Cool.
because yesterday I was busy and I had some stuff dishes made, but I wanted to make rice to go with it. So I asked her to please make rice, and she's actually starting work at 2:30. And I said, you have plenty of time to cook me some rice. And so we were, just before I just jumped in, I was on face call with her to teach her exactly how to make. Though she knows, but sometimes she just making excuses. Oh, I don't know how to make. And then I said, put the camera on, we will do it together.
Absolutely. Yeah, how wonderful. Yeah, so still teaching, leading her, learning. So good. And so um Afghan women on the move, you said that you never thought that it was never a dream or a vision of, oh, I want to be a CEO and I want to have this board of directors, and that was never part of it. It was all around connection, building community, building trust, showing these women what was possible for them in the community that they lived in. And it we know this, but it takes somebody, and in this case somebody like you, to do that, to make the first move, to go first, to be able to be the leader that can demonstrate what's possible to other people. So I mean, you must have heard it a million times, Maryam, but kudos to you for doing that, because I like you've shared, it doesn't, and it didn't rather come easily to you. You had the inner burning desire, but there were so many external reasons why not to. And that would have made it, I'm sure, so easy for you at so many times to say, no, okay, then I won't, or okay, no, this is too hard. Like this is feeling like too much now, and I'm gonna stop and back down and back away. But yet you didn't, and then it turned
Yeah,
into this whole not-for-profit organization.
that is right, Laura. And also it is still not easy to what I am doing. And now that I am already somewhere there, I wanted to do it to leave a legacy that women like me, communities like us, we are, because of all this perception and both from within and outside in, both there is this perception that women can't lead and shouldn't lead, and because of this and because of all those patriarchal views and systematic barriers. I wanted to kind of show them that actually while I started as a cooking shows and meeting in the parks, but we're not a group in the parks. It's a proper organization. It has policies, it has governance, it has financials, it has people. There's a formalities involved for the women to, when I'm not there, so still the organization keep going, because we need it. We really need examples of places that activate ideas and people, and especially women. So that's my aim, and that's what I wanted to do. And now that I've been signed a CEO contract and all this fancy wonderful support that I get, I was like, still it's not easy, but I think I am committed to be there as long as they want me.
Yes, I'm sure you are. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what comes to me as you say that is that, let's say the day came when they didn't want you, quote unquote. I can imagine you would take a chair and a table and and be building something else where you saw that there was a need, and where you saw that, the flame in you, I don't feel like it's one that would be put out or dimmed very easily, right? So I feel like that might be part of what you would do, were that ever the case.
Thank you, and support like this, and what those. It means a lot. It means a lot, and I have been on interviews and supporters that wanted to learn about my story and kind of amplify my voice to their own kind of communities, and just to know that it's amazing to have this support and women like yourself to come and listen and pass it on. It's also equally appreciated for women in communities like us.
Yeah, and it's required and it's needed, like you've said. And I know, Maryam, one of the things that we have spoken around before is that idea of there's the patriarchal society, and yes, there's so many barriers that can prevent women from progressing, or prevent women from thinking that they can move forward or take on bigger roles, leadership roles in whatever capacity, be it at home, at work, in wherever in life. But also sometimes it's the work needs to be done with other women in helping other women to see that it's okay to support other women, right? And this is part of what I talk around in my my kind of theory, let's call it, of contagious leadership. My interpretation of it, at least, is that sure, if we back ourselves, we to be ourselves, we focus on running our own race and quietening out the noise, ditching the comparison to others, all of that imposter syndrome that can come in, trying to put a lid on that as best as possible. Yes, we're showing other people what's possible, but also when we do that, and I've experienced this myself, and I've seen so many clients of mine in my coaching work experience this, is when we do that, we are much more, I'm going to say, comfortable to actually support other women to be able to do it too. Because what I found is that, and I've seen this in my own career at times for sure, is that it's not necessarily the men that have stopped women from getting to where they want to be. We know that's true. There's a whole patriarchal piece. We know that. I'm not denying that. But often it's in the more real individual moments, it's actually women that are getting in the way of other women, because there's almost this feeling of not enough room at the top. There's not enough room for both of us. So I'm going to put you down there and I'm going to rise. And, it's all sort of this societal systemic problem, of course, that's led, I think, women to be like that. But it's a thing. It's a thing. Let's be honest. It's a thing. Have you found that too?
And as they say, it takes a confident woman to support another woman, but also at the same time, I have experienced it myself, and still out there are women that just does not want you to be near them, let alone to, have you in somewhere that they potentially can go or wanted to be. They just don't want you to be near them. And I have had people that were told some at their groups, so that don't invite Maryam. Simple as that. Don't invite Maryam. And and so there are women out there that they can be quite harsh in their approach to support other women. But I hope that that I pray that I wanted to do as much as I can to support other women and communities, but also I'm looking into this expectation that women like me, when a lot of times with my community, when they see me with the ministers or in the parliament or doing these interviews, they think that I have all the power, I have all the money, I have everything that I should be able to do it. And if I don't do it, they accuse you of being ignorant or being, not supporting. So there is a bit of gray line in between who can help you and who can't. But there is also an obvious factors that that who can really help you, right? If you're experienced in that space, that how the work and the policies, and given the all the factors that a person holds. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I as much as I call for the help and support from other women towards myself, and I'm doing exactly the same to support other women, but I hope people understand that sometimes there's also this misinterpretation of women like me out there, and especially through social media, and that she's been in parliament, why can't she just give me a visa, or why can't she bring me a funding? So that can really ruin your sometimes reputation, I should say, as well, because it has happened to me in terms of losing friends. I have lost so many friends in community, just because they saw me, doing things that they thought, just because I'm there, I should be able to get it. But they don't understand that women like me had to ask. We must go 100 times over and over and telling our stories and legitimize ourselves to get something done.
Mm-hmm.
before they get to know the real backstory of the work I do, they just kind of cut ties. And at times, when they say leadership is a lonely journey, you just don't sometimes get left alone by the system, but also by your friends and supporters that they just misinterpret your position in this space.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah. And you know, I say to people, even friends of mine, to say it could be as simple as a like on a social media post. You know, to help the algorithm to spread the message further. Like it doesn't have to be any bigger than that, the support necessarily that we're
Yeah.
getting from other women, from anyone really, but from other women. But, you know, every small piece of support, as simple as a like on a post, can compound, of course, into so much more bigger,
That's
better things. And you're right, the old saying, you know, leadership can be lonely, or, you know, the higher you get, the lonelier it gets, or the higher you climb, the lonelier it can become. Very, very true. And again, I see this in so many of the clients that I work with, and particularly women. I mean, I work with men and women, but mostly women. My focus is really women. And for sure, I think they can experience more loneliness because a lot of the time they don't feel like, in order to prove that they've got what it takes, in order to prove that they deserve to be where they are, is almost that comes with that, almost this belief that I should be able to do this by myself, and you know, I should, in order to prove my worth here, in order to prove my credibility, my reputation, I'm gonna do it by myself. And with that, then they almost create the problem of having this isolation sentiment
yeah.
come about, where you know, we need to build community around, to get the support, and to even just have somebody to lean on as a sounding board sometimes, or to vent to, whatever it might be, just to acknowledge, and you know, that sure, you might be a leader of a CEO and founder of an organization or whatever level, but you're human at the end of the day. And humans have feelings and emotions and highs and lows and the roller coaster of life that comes for anybody. And having that support system around to reduce as best as possible the loneliness, so important, so important. And I think it can take people a long
Thank you.
time. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I've
Thanks
experienced
for
this in my own
acknowledging it.
journey. Yeah, yeah. I think it can take people a long time, can't it, to realize that, oh, do you know what? Actually, I can't do this by myself. I shouldn't be doing this by myself. And it's making decisions like that that then again inspire other people to say, oh, it's okay to be a leader and to seek help from other people, or it's okay to be a leader and admit that you're struggling at times. Oh, that's good. It humanizes, it builds the trust, like you mentioned before. It's so important that what's vulnerability to build the trust, isn't it?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, and the more I guess we talk about it, the more we create awareness. So I'm glad that you have asked these questions, and yes, there's a lot that we can tell our communities, that support comes in different shapes or forms. And as you say, just a like, or just say how are you, or just say hello when they see you in the shopping center or in events. A lot of times they just kind of yeah, there are some naughty ones out there. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, get there in their own time, perhaps, once they've built their own belief and confidence. And I would love to ask you that question, actually, Mariam. What, for anybody out there, and we know that there are so many individuals, and particularly women, that struggle at times with their own kind of self-belief and confidence in themselves. For anybody out there who might be struggling with anything like that, from your experience, your words of wisdom, what advice might you give them to be able to sort of just level up that self-worth and self-belief?
I think I would say from my experience that stop waiting for the right time, and it's a quite obvious kind of approach that we've been kind of been telling or been told a lot, that don't wait for too long, otherwise you're going to wait forever. But also, you know, asking for permission to whether you're right or wrong, because women always doubt themselves and they wait to look perfect, to do perfect, and to say it perfectly. I think if I could do it with all my broken pieces, a lot of women are much better than me out there that they can do it, but they need to start. Took me 26 years in Australia for me to have this voice and visibility. And I hope that my daughter and women that are listening to us, and men as well, that they, given all these opportunities that this wonderful country offers us, take a little bit less time than me to wait for the right time to do it. They might, yeah, and they will be surprised that how life can teach you so fast.
Yes, yeah, just start. I love that. Just start. It's sort of that feel the fear, do it anyway, close the eyes, take the big step. And I talk around confidence compounding. It's like we do something once, we realize that it wasn't so bad, we survived, and then we're more confident to do it the next time, the next time, the next time. It just compounds and compounds and compounds, and then we build that self-belief, and with that, the self-worth that can come. And I love how you talk there around the idea of just not, almost like not waiting for permission, just doing it, and taking advantage of the opportunities that we have got, because we are in a very fortunate position to be in this country, and a very lucky position to be in this country where those opportunities exist. And so use the platform, use the space that we are granted to actually do something with it, well, no matter what that is for the individual.
That is right. Yes, and on that I want to say something, that there was a week that I wasn't feeling well or feeling down. I couldn't post, and normally I post a lot on my LinkedIn, social media, and all platforms, and it was a bit stressing. And I was like, oh, I haven't posted anything because I have the habit of posting. And I remember somebody very close to me said to me, Maryam, the world does not revolve around you, so stop pushing yourself. So that really kind of made sense in terms of that, whether we post or don't post, the world then does not revolve around one person, and not everybody will only sit down and think about you. So you do your own bit and your own ways, and the rest will fall into their places.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think there's an element there of giving ourselves a bit of like grace and permission to be unwell, and to pull back and fill the cup back up before we then go on and give to others too. I feel like there's a sneaky message in there, about a reminder about that too, because we're all guilty of that, just pushing and driving without taking rest, maybe when we need it. But I love that. Yeah, the world doesn't revolve around anyone.
That's right. Yeah, and you just do
Love
your own
it.
thing and just leave it.
Yeah, run your own race, I like to talk around. So, Mariam, this conversation has been so insightful, useful, curious. It's been inspiring. So, again, I really, really appreciate your time and your vulnerability to share, and your openness and your willingness to share your personal story, and, of course, more around the work that you do, and how that all came about. A great story. I absolutely love every piece of it. So thank you so much again for your time, and I would love to, I'm sure there will be people that maybe are listening to this that want to learn more about Afghan women on the move, and more around the good work that you're doing out there, and maybe follow along or provide whatever support that they might be able to in any way. So where can people find you if they want to do that?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, and also, as I said before as well, that your support and to amplifying our voices out there to your network means a lot. Your listeners can find us on our website, on afghanwomenonthemove.org.au. They can find me on LinkedIn, social media. Just say Maryam Popol or Maryam Zahid on Afghan Women on the Move. You will see a lot of crazy stories, and all good ones apparently. But anyway, they will find me there. And also, as an organization, we are tax deductible, so their donation on our programs are very welcome. And I hope that one day when we come back, and maybe when we talk about the next generation, that I pray that our next generation, especially women, don't have to fight so hard to be visible and to be heard. I hope that they don't have to fight so hard to prove themselves. I hope there should be more expecting, there will be expecting of them to be leaders, to be speakers, to be out there, rather than to be questions. So, yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
all.
yes, yes,
Thank you.
yes. All of that I love. I love everything about what you just summarized for us. It's the next generations, it's the
Thank you.
ripple effect, the contagious nature of what that is, and it takes people, women, to set the example and lead the way and pave the way to change the world for the next generations to come. And that can sound like a big statement, but it's true. We need to do it one person at a time. And
Thank you.
yes, stop trying to a world where we don't have to prove ourselves. Phenomenal,
Thank you.
phenomenal. The world would be
Thank you.
a
Thank you so
brighter
much.
place for so many. So, Mariam, thank you so much. We will leave it there for today, and we'll be back soon. But again, Mariam, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.